Oh, that's still coming from here. Hi, Sherry.
You can see me.
Hi,
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yep.
Okay, good. Good.
She's gonna be
Thanks for joining.
on the big screen.
I'm gonna.
Hi, Bonnie, how are you?
Yeah, cancel.
Yeah, not yet.
Why? What happened? No,
No,
I'm just, nobody's here.
little fit right now.
Is everybody joining by Zoom? I'm sorry? Are they all joining by Zoom? No. Well, Peter maybe.
So fire trucks all going down Baton Road, well, actually down Holly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know, I was coming out of my driveway and they were. So I hope
Oh.
it's not something,
I didn't hear
never a
any.
good thing to see.
No, no, no.
Uh-oh. Now Peter can't come.
Oh, how that affect our
Is it,
situation?
who else can come?
Mike,
Mike
Chris,
D'Angelo.
Gabe, Mike D'Angelo.
So we need four, how are we doing this?
The text will be up.
Jill, or Jill,
She was coming. She was coming.
and how about, Mike,
Mike Coley was.
Mike Coney was not coming. He
Oh,
just sent me.
Peter
a-
was.
Peter was coming, but then I can't make it.
Well,
Kevin McGovern, Jill.
Jill, Kevin's coming, so that'll be four.
okay,
You guys, Kevin. Jill.
so is Bill Brooks coming?
He's not coming. He's not coming. He's-
Why
I
are we
talked to
getting
him.
Sherry?
Sherry's online.
Don't talk about her. She's right there.
Oh, is she?
I,
Okay,
I leave.
yes. You do one to
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I do have it on my computer, but it would. Great, thank
You make that, Kristen?
Yep.
All right, let's call to order the Fairhaven Shade Tree Commission meeting of August 2nd, 2023. Sunshine Law Notice. This is the regular meeting of the Shade Tree Commission of the Borough of Fairhaven. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, public meetings may be held in person or by means of communication equipment to include the streaming services and other online meeting platforms. This meeting is being held in person and through the Zoom meeting platform, being broadcast from Borough Hall, 748 River Road, Fairhaven, New Jersey. Public participation for this meeting on August 2nd, 2023 is available by call-in phone number or through Zoom. Members of the public will be on mute until it is time for questions, comments, which will be announced. At that time, the public has the opportunity to question, comment by phone or through Zoom by the raise hand button and will be called on at the appropriate time. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and the Star Ledger on January 26, 2023, posted on the Borough website, the Borough Bulletin Board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. With adequate notice having been given, the Shade Tree Commission Secretary is directed to include this statement in the minutes of this meeting. Roll call, Christie.
Chris Larson,
Here.
Jill Sullivan,
Here.
Mike D'Angelo, absent. Chris McCabe, absent. Kevin McGovern, Leah Vigani.
Here.
Bonnie Torsivia,
Here.
Peter Degati, absent. Mike Hoey, absent. You have a quorum.
Okay. Please stand for the pledge and allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I assume everybody took a look at the prior meeting minutes. A motion to approve. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Second. Minutes approved. Okay, we're gonna start off and running. We have a guest here, Sherry Spiro. She was asked to come to give us a update on our tree inventory grant and how the process is going so far. Sherry, thank you for joining us.
Sure, no problem. So I really wanted to just can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on one second. It went away again.
Jerry?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really.
Going on through the computer.
I know. It says here.
Okay.
not coming through.
Yeah.
There we go. Loud and clear.
Okay, well, thanks for having me. All right, so for the grant, I really just have some questions that I figured, to get from you first before I can really start on the grant. So I have a couple of questions here that if you guys have the answers for them, then I can start, preparing the grant. And I don't know if you all will know this, maybe Christy will have some of the answers. Have you applied for any grants in the last few years? The state changed their format and you have to have a SAGE account. That's SAGE. I'm not sure what it stands for. But so that's really my first question is, do you have one of these accounts yet? And if not, I'll set it up.
The Shade Tree Commission
No.
specifically?
I might have set it up last year because I needed to just get in to see what it was even about.
Okay.
So.
Do you have the sign-in then info?
I will look tomorrow.
Okay.
And if I have, I believe set it up because the only way I could see what this was all about last year. So I will look for it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's first easy one. Also, you don't have any open grants, correct? Okay,
Specific to the Shade Tree Commission, right?
yeah, for shade tree, yeah, through the urban forestry program.
We do not.
Okay. All right, how about, are you in compliance with the community forestry program? Did you submit your accomplishment report and were approved?
Yeah, all that's done.
Okay. Okay, okay, so as far as the actual project, what is, I guess, what do you hope to accomplish? And, what do we want to break this up? Because it is only $15,000 grant this year. They've reduced the amount. So that's not going to cover a full inventory. So they do suggest, if you want to do a certain area of town, break it up into phases. But I want to see what your objective was on that.
I can take this.
Okay.
I sent you that document that kind of outlined all our objectives. And what we were trying to accomplish, so you should be able to just take it right from there.
Okay.
I did mention in there that there was a proposal that I also sent that was the full inventory.
Yes.
That was $19,000. But in that was for the, the whole kit and caboodle. So we had talked about when we spoke that we would kind of prioritize some areas.
Okay.
So I think that you and I could probably take that offline, but if you just review that scope document that I sent, you'll have basically everything you should need.
Okay. I forgot you sent me that email. All right. So as far as, since your quote was higher than the 15,000, do you know what areas you want to focus on? Is that
I think, in my opinion, and weigh in anybody else, is that the street tree should be the highest priority. And then from that point, they give you a quote on a per tree basis, basically. So once we hit that number, then I would prioritize highly used parks. Like in my mind, McCarter Park is number one because the Sickles kids are in that park every day. There's trees everywhere and everybody's all around. And then maybe we could rank them past that. But I think to actually get a handle on what's lining our streets, is top priority.
Okay,
And then we can rank the parks after that, and maybe we can talk about that as a group and send you that ranked list.
that's probably fine with the street trees and then the park. I mean, there's a. Do you know how many road miles you have in the town?
Yes, that's in that document too.
It is, okay, great. Okay, all right, so I could start from there, then that's fine. What else? What about the match? Do you have that in there?
The what?
The match, how does the borough want to match? It's required a 25% match.
Oh, we'll do that through, like volunteer and in-kind hours.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that will be all volunteer.
and like, employee hours too that are working on the project once the grant is granted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Your street trees, they're all public, like the borough handles all the trees that are lining your street, right? They're not, any of them are for residents to handle.
This is only, we can't do this for private.
I'm just
trees.
making sure that all your roads are like that it's all borough managed.
The ones that are in the right of way are borough managed, yeah.
Okay, okay. Not all towns are set up that way, so I'm just checking on that. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, really, after I get the Sage registration information, and I could start working on the actual grant application. You know, I don't expect it to take too long, especially since you have outline already.
What's the deadline? It was August 25th?
That one is the 25th. The 25th at 5.
I guess like my biggest concern is that I was on the webinar last week where they were going over the grant, and there was a lot of people on that webinar. Like, this is going to be a really competitive grant. So I just want to make sure that maybe we have a chance to look at it before it's submitted, and that, like, basically that's perfect, because you know, it's important that we get this, given the fact that if not, we're going to have to pay for the tree inventory in order to remain in compliance next year. So you know, just want to emphasize that.
Yeah, no, I understand. I know it's so they didn't though say specifically yet about the survey has to be done in order to stay in compliance.
Yes, they did.
So,
I started in 2024.
but
That's
it's absolutely impossible for how many communities in the entire state, you know, because they haven't released the their guidelines yet for the management plan.
I mean, they've said it over and over and over again and again last week. And maybe it doesn't affect boroughs or towns that their management plan doesn't expire in 2024, but ours just happens to expire. So it is like the perfect storm. So we
that
need
also
to
might
have this done. I mean, as long as we're in the process of doing it, we will remain in
Sure.
compliance. But if we are nowhere with it, then we're not going to be in a good position. Let's just put it like that. So I think that, you know, probably a lot of communities will have a couple of years leeway because they have an existing plan that takes them through, you know, 2028 or whatever. So, but we just happen to be in the position where we need, you know, we need this done this year, or at least started this year, you know.
Right,
in order
right.
to- So,
Sherry, I was just gonna say my angst. If
Put it in power.
need help, I'm happy to volunteer. I'm sure I could get some other volunteers if you needed assistance doing this.
Okay. All right, I will definitely let you know. Yeah, I haven't opened the Sage program yet, so I can't even tell you if you know what I can hand out for you, but, let me, once I get into the program, I will let you know if I need anything extra.
The application deadline is August 25th. Is this a rolling application process or is everything
No,
25th and then they start to review them on the 25th? Okay. so
well,
yeah.
but 5 PM, it has to be in by 5 PM, so I'm assuming they're not reviewing them that day, but, I did read that late October is when they expect to notice everyone.
Okay,
But it's
but
definitely.
they're not reviewing as,
No, they're not.
as they roll.
Yeah, I confirm.
Yeah. I think they only do that with the Green Communities Grant. Mostly all these other CSIP grants, they, there's just one deadline.
Going forward for updates, Sherry, Jill, do you think it would be a good idea if Sherry came back, or should we just keep in touch via email to make sure we're
I think
all on
we
the
need
same
to keep
thing?
in touch by email probably more frequently now that we're sitting here at August 2nd.
Right.
I mean, by the time we have our next meeting, this is gonna be
It's
submitted.
already- right.
So I think it would be worth it to kind of like maybe, have a summary of the
Sure.
submission.
Sure.
But, I think that we need to be in touch quite frequently over the next couple of weeks. You and I
Sure.
and Chris, yeah.
So I have time on Monday. I am going on vacation Tuesday afternoon. So this is on my agenda for Monday to work on. And then I do have a couple other people in the office that could help if needed while I'm out. I'm only gone for a week, but just to let you know, this is, on my list to do for Monday.
So I'm traveling on vacation on Monday as well, but you could reach me by phone. I don't mind chatting.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And I will let you know either way tomorrow if that stage account is in fact set up. If it's set up like under my personal, like, whatever, not necessarily a borough established, but I will research that and get back to you guys tomorrow on that.
Okay.
And if we could ask for maybe just a quick email, maybe some summary bullet points by Monday, late afternoon, whenever you said you're gonna work on it, if we could.
Yeah, for sure.
Have something to come up. All right.
I'm actually gonna be in town tomorrow too. Christy, I'm gonna go out on those permits.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me know if you have any questions.
Did you say you're gonna be in town, Sherry, tomorrow, looking at trees?
Yeah, that's 2 permits and then I have a resident complaint on another street.
Because I just was curious, I mean, Leah, I know is one person who has a problem with her tree, and I think there are several others on Lewis Point that have that the leaves are curling black. I was just hoping to maybe have you look at
Yeah,
them.
it's like a bacteria that was introduced by wasps or something. A gall, bacterial wasp gall or something.
What kind of tree is it?
It's a red oak.
Oh, it's BLS, bacterial leaf scorch, maybe?
No, it's not bacterial leaf scorch. I'm sorry. Bill Brooks came by and then sent another person over and they brought it to the county.
You tested it?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And it was like a bacteria that was in bacterial gall that was introduced by wasps.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to do like a fertilizer and just keep watering it through the summer. But yes, they are in the neighborhood, and Bill Brooks had said that he hadn't seen them in a really long time,
Yeah, it's just, I around the corner, a resident asked me, she said their oaks have been dying on Briarwood. And I just was, if you're gonna be around, you could maybe take a peek at them. I don't know if this is something we really need to worry about, if it's spreading and but
Yeah, I can totally take a look.
From what I understand, I guess my tree is of an age that it should be able to survive it. But I don't know if that's the case for everybody.
So there's not really a cure for this leaf scorch, although Leah said.
Feels,
This isn't,
That's not what it is.
right, she's saying it's not feels.
it's not bacterial leaf scorch. That's like a death sentence for the tree.
Yeah, there is some treatments you could do to kind of prolong the life, but there's not really any great remedy. They've been working on that, I think, since I've been in college, so. Don't think they're coming up with a solution quite yet.
All right, great. We have anything else for Sherry?
Since you mentioned, Chris, the public works plan, I don't know if you guys saw, I did send in comments on that.
We do have a copy of it. We just got it. We didn't really look it over, but I'm.
No, not the plan, my comments
Oh.
on the plan.
Dude. I don't see.
You mean the trees that you pick the trees that are outlined here?
So. No, the landscape architect put that together and then it was sent over to me by Drew. He sent it over and then he asked for comments on it.
I don't see your comment there.
I have them. I could forward them along. I thought then there was the iteration. I don't know that this Tracy asked us to include those plans, so I circulated them to the commission.
Okay.
Can you tell
I'm
us?
assuming we're going full native here at this point.
I mean, I
That's
did make comments about that. I don't know if
I don't.
they changed any of the plan since I saw it.
Okay, can you tell us what you had a problem with some of these selections? Is that what yours?
Yeah, I mean, let me pull out my email.
Yeah.
They have a list
You
of
requested for natives to be used.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no way I'm reading this.
You're talking about the DPW plan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So is this?
Yeah, I can forward that along. It's so hard to read the plan as printed. I can.
Well, they
circulate
have
that
a list of the
electronically.
plants, the deciduous trees. They have like hackberry, river birch, this green pillar oak. Redmond.
the narrow one. Yeah, so I think I mentioned about, do they still have Little Leaf Linden on 3rd Street?
Do they still have little leaf? Do you mean in front of the DPW?
Yeah, along 3rd Street.
Is that the linden you don't like, the little leaf? Is that
Well, right, so that's Little Leaf Linden. I didn't even suggest any particular species. I just said that there's numerous native trees that they could use instead.
okay, well, maybe we could get
Yeah,
a list
maybe we
of them.
should look this all over and review it before we
Yeah.
open up for discussion, so we all know what we're
We send
talking
that
about.
to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that was really the only main tree. I then asked about the other perennials. I listed out, they have Japanese iris, liriope, Russian sage, catman, and salvia. And then I wrote them other alternatives that they could consider for all of those. So, I mean, I have blue flag iris, Grollo sumac, potentilla, butterfly weed, mountain mint, gay feather, asters, helenium. I mean, there's plenty of them. So there's really no reason to use those 5 when there's plenty of other choices. And then I also recommended for them to switch the serviceberry. It is native, but they're also using Eastern red cedar, and the rust disease needs both anything from like the apple family and the cedar family to complete its life cycle. So you're really not supposed to plant those 2 species together.
That's so interesting. I never heard that. Wow.
Yeah, it's called cedar apple rust. So yeah, they, typically you'd be able to find those in the wild, like if you had an apple tree on your property and then maybe there's red cedars, in a wooded area by you, but certainly we don't want to, purposefully put them on the same site. So I recommended to use redbud or flowering dogwood instead of serviceberry.
Okay, well, I think your recommendations make a lot of sense. If you're recommending natives, it's easy to swap some out, so that's.
Yeah.
great. agree with
Yeah,
the choices you just mentioned.
sure. Review and talk about them at the next meeting.
Well, I just would, I think we could agree that we would prefer to go
Prefer
native.
natives,
We would
absolutely.
prefer natives. If there's a choice to be made, it's easy to swap them out. Can we just say that we would back Sherry's recommendations to go straight native and this combo that she just mentioned that I never knew about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, are we required to approve this?
No.
Oh,
I think
We're
we
not,
just wanted
but
to
if
look
they want
at-
us to weigh in.
Yeah.
Right, sure. And, you know, something like this should be brought to their attention. I think, by all means, it should be, I think, a no-brainer. Natives are all no-brainer. All right.
Good.
All right, so, I guess I'll hear from Christy then tomorrow on the Sage, registration, and I'll get back to you guys on Monday.
Sounds good. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Sherry.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, moving along. Bill Brooks is not here. I did speak with him today. He did not really have much. He said there's really no line trimming going on. There were, I guess a handful, I think he said about 10 dead trees along Ridge Road that will soon be marked. If you see them marked, they are coming down, so they are dead, and they are the county's responsibility, and they are taking them down for us. So he said there's approximately 10 trees, so somewhere around those things. And that was really, that was really it from him today. CEUs, that's something, Christy, how many CEUs? I think, Jill, you got a CEU for that,
I got one last week and then I actually got another one today.
what?
Yeah, so I'm trying to take a few of these like iTree things because I am thinking it might be an option for us to save a few bucks doing the inventory.
Okay,
That was the one today.
Yes, so I'm not quite sure that, I'm not quite sure it will be, but it's definitely going to be a resource for us to place value on trees,
Okay.
even if it wouldn't be the best way for us to collect an inventory and manage the inventory. I mean, it is like an amazing way to just throw in a tree and to assign a value to that tree, which could be very useful, you know, with the ordinance or whatever.
Yep.
Or even if we are if we, you know, eventually are put in that position to kind of like listen to people that want to have us make their exception for them when they want to take down a tree, for us to kind of understand, you know, what that tree is actually worth.
sure.
So anyway, yeah, that's two.
Yeah, that's great.
You need me to remain in compliance per year, and it can't be one person, Jill, it's gotta be
No,
taking them, so I can send an updated list of opportunities, there's,
okay.
like Jill said, there's some online, which makes it easier.
How many more do we need?
Hold on, say
More
again.
do we need?
I think, didn't we get some, Bonnie, and me, you and Mike from that?
Is that the core? Yeah, there's no credits.
Yes,
But I know that was a lot of work, so.
It was for your own benefit.
no, and it was.
There's a core training requirement as well, and that's a totally separate thing for non-compliant, but that doesn't count towards CEUs. So I can send the latest list.
Does attending the meeting, the Shade Tree Federation meeting in October count?
There usually are some
Yeah.
CEUs attached to it,
Yeah.
sometimes it's multiple, because there's.
Yeah.
uh,
Did we attend, have we attended that? Has anybody attended that?
It's a few days, right?
It's
Is that the one in
it's
Atlantic City?
October. I think it's
I think it's in,
not Camden.
actually, I don't know where it is.
I
It
think
might
it's
be
near
in-
Camden.
Okay,
Cherry Hill, maybe Cherry Hill or
Maybe.
something?
I see it blasted. Like
Yeah,
occasionally.
do you get, I mean, I'd be interested to go. So if you find out.
I can look into that for you.
Yeah,
And I'll send with the follow-up, the most current CEU opportunities for everyone else.
okay.
Then the process.
On that,
is
so
if
we're up to
take-
two?
You have to be your registration, so that way they make sure that Fairhaven gets credit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I did take a class once. And it was a long one. So we'll make sure we're taking the right ones. All right. Green Team and Natural Area Update. Bonnie, towards the-
Okay, the green team has been sending out information on the spotted lanternfly, which I don't know if
I've seen
anything.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and we did so with Mark Olson on the Third Street Trail, wrap some tape around the new trees. There were a lot in the on Third Street Trail.
Mhm.
I think it's because there's still, the ailanthus trees are still there. There's a
Mhm.
bunch of them. They took a couple down. But so I've been kind of studying them, and first attempt, had a couple rows of tape, and it seemed like the higher up you went, the more other little insects, like valuable insects you caught. So we took it down and we added these little screen skirts just yesterday to try to keep the other bugs off and let the lantern flies climb up. So anyway, I was doing that with Stephanie Adams yesterday, and hopefully, we're kind of refining. I think everybody's trying to figure out the way to get them
Yeah.
best. So that's a work in progress. We're trying to help with a bit of that.
Other casualties.
Yes. And I did miss the last natural area meeting because I was up in Maine. But I know they're still working on a plan for the Northwest, that recently cleared Northwest area.
Mhm.
They took some drone shots, which this wasn't the best time because the canopy kind of prevented them from actually seeing, but I think they'd like to, draw some new trails in there.
Okay.
And they're also on Third Street Trail. We had Kevin from Frontier came in and cut some trees down and trying to open up some paths back through that area, which is actually
Great.
pretty neat. I mean, there's
Yeah,
a natural
that's
path
great.
that kids have, and deer have made, but it'd be fun to open it up to people with dogs and everything else, so.
And that's in the Third Street Trail?
Mhm.
Or the Frontier?
The Frontier did, well, way back Frontier did work in the northwest corner, but this recently in June, Kevin was in Third Street Trail doing some work for a day.
Okay. Community outreach, Leah, Bonnie, what are we doing?
Hi, so we have 168 followers. A little bit more than last time, but not much more.
We're going up, going up. right?
We're going up. We're going up slowly but surely. I have 4 new posts locked and loaded to post. Some are talking about the steps after I started this a while ago, but it's the steps after like the healing process of after a forest fire. I have something about mulch volcanoes, because I didn't know this, my husband didn't know this, just like not having it too high on the tree trunk, it like decays the tree and allows for pests. And what else? A tree poem, some other stuff. So I'll be working on posting that. The other thing I did, I made a graphic for the tree buying program that we plan on doing. But once I have more information, I can put accurate information on it. But I kind of started it as a placeholder. It's like a template for whatever we want to put in. And then we can share it on our stories, and we can post it on and share it on with the Fairhaven group on Facebook. I think that covers
That's
it.
great. All right. That's great. Thank you, Leah.
Sure.
Quanzine cherry tree giveaway. Peter is not here. I did not get any update. Did he mention anything to you, Christina, when he said anything, or when he wasn't?
No, I have not heard any updates since
No.
the trees, the residences, I'm assuming he let those residents know. That the locations you chose.
Right. All right, well, we'll circle back to him at the next meeting. We'll leave it on. And now we're resident tree buying program, Jill.
Yeah, so big update here. I will say that I did communicate with Peter last week because the Quonzins will be available in the resident tree buying
Oh, great.
program. So
Oh,
I've been holding off on that to move forward with
Sure.
that plan. So that's great because the price is right.
Yeah.
I did email you a PDF, like while I was sitting here, so I was able to connect by my I just wanted to share kind of a document that I worked on for too many hours today when I should have been doing my real job. About like, kind of, this will be relevant to you, setting up an information sheet. I mean, it's 11 sheets. On how we're gonna talk about this to the residents. Because it has the list of what trees are available, how the program works. And literally, like, I need somebody to put eyes on this because it's not edited, it's you know, and I'm a little cross-eyed over it. But this outlines, I guess, Christy, I need to talk to you and like what type of format this should be in order for it to be useful to the community. You know, like we don't have, like Shade Tree does not have a website, which is kind of how.
Not its own, but it links off of the Borough website.
Okay, so maybe it is just this document, but if you want to if we could just quickly like.
Yeah.
Go through it, you know, and this is like a summary of like the bullet points of how it works, and I could email this around, and like I said, I would love people to kind of proof it for me.
Mhm.
Can you see online? Can you see this document?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is really like kind of just bullet points on how it works, how you're going to pick from your available trees, how the price, you know, the price includes delivery and planting, that residents don't need to be there, but they should be. When the tree is planted, that the trees are guaranteed for a year, you could order as many as you want. That the planting locations, you could pick it, but really there's some utility markouts that will have to be adhered to. You can't plant in the right of way. That you're paying for and book directly. And then you move on to the next page, and this will all be linked up. So this is what we're offering. You know, five shade trees, 3 flowering trees, a couple evergreens, and with their pricing. The good news is that they kept the pricing the same. They had thought at one point that maybe they were going to increase the price for us because we're a little bit further than Manasquan, but they didn't. So I just kept my mouth shut on that one. So this is what we have here. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Sure. And then this is just the firm book guarantee, like directly off of their contract. Which I thought that might make the town happy having it there. And then moving on here, this is kind of just like a quick description of what each of these trees is, so that, you know, people don't have to like hunt and peck for information. I mean, I would say that it's very brief. But I did want to like run this by.
Is this all from them or did you?
No, this is from me.
You put this together.
This is why it's like, don't say anything bad about it today. You can
It's not gonna be bad. I mean, this is.
Did a great job.
But they gave you the trees.
Are you a web developer?
I am not a web.
There's no choice to be made. They just give you the.
No. We had a conversation
Okay.
about these, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, we had a conversation about, I said that we need an oak in there for Bonnie. And I did request that we could offer the funds in so that we could continue with that project.
Sure.
Okay.
But yeah, no,
All the taxes.
the requirements were they have to be good things to be planted in the fall.
Mhm.
And you know, it's, we wanted to offer like a good variety. So, it's not all native, but that wasn't the intent,
Well,
but, yeah.
why?
because it's just not.
Because with them
With
or
that, yeah, it's just to get trees into the ground, you know, but
they're
they're,
not a focus on
no,
natives?
they're not, but they grow everything in New Jersey. Everything is grown here,
Okay.
so natively grown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just like where we are with this. I mean, the deadline for getting the information to them is right after Labor Day. So we should get this in the works like staff.
I was just gonna add,
We-
is that August 7th real? That's Monday, that's definitely not.
Well, that's
No,
when
no,
it
no,
starts.
that's just in there, like when we could talk.
Oh, okay.
Like, I just threw it in there.
It's 10, we have to have 10
We have to
seconds.
have 10,
10,
yeah.
and then is it in increments of 10, we just, anything, just 10?
Once we hit 10, we're good to go, like we could have 11, 12, 13.
Are we gonna do Lord Raton's tree?
Yes, Laura Bertone Street's coming
Okay,
out.
so, I mean, already, how many do we have? If we have
Well, I don't know how
Kwanzaa's?
many Kwanzas we were putting
At
in.
least two, right? Do we pick two locations?
All right, so
Yeah,
we're-
and then get up Lori's, and then, you know, if we want, I thought we were doing something with the school, did we talk about that or no? Or we were gonna offer this to the school, as maybe their front,
It's a good idea, I don't recall, I
They're gonna
know
play it anyways.
Yeah.
school, we were talking about the Salem of thing across the street from Sickles, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But adding
But
more trees in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the pricing and the planting is pretty
Yeah.
good, and it's gonna all be about promoting this, and where I think that we need as a commission to really be on top of that, kind of like forwarding it and talking about it and posting it to our personal pages and stuff like that to kind of get
Yeah.
this moving, because we would hate to see this fail.
Oh, no.
On the first run out.
Is there-
And I don't, not that I expect like us to have, you know, 50 trees being planted this fall, but I think like if we could get past that first hump of having 10, and then it kind of like happens, and then it will build from there.
Right.
Just say, say their size, how big they are?
Yeah.
Two,
Yeah, just,
2.5 caliber. So about 10 to 12 feet is usually, and then the evergreens are between 5 and 7 feet tall.
And that's.
Nice.
They're good
That's
sized
a nice,
trees.
American Holly, I'm so glad you have that, and
I think it's a calendar.
This is something we could hand out too, to, I mean, to promote it to anybody who's, you know, taking down a tree and they will be required to plant a tree, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Something
it's just
like
a
that,
lot, like that thing's a
a
lot. of
builder,
pages.
yeah.
I almost feel like any new construction, anybody that's doing work, you
Sure.
just hand them and say, hey, if you're planning,
Yeah,
you wanna support, I mean, not you.
Right.
we,
yeah, yeah.
But,
I mean, we can help do that internally, like
the-
with the zoning.
Permits
application
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This, we
Yeah.
fill out a permit.
It's just a quick turn. I mean, it's, I think the nature of this, the way they do their inventory, and then, you know, the good times to plant, it's always gonna be kind of a quick turn. But, you know, when this is successful, like we could talk about how in the spring there'll be another one, and, you know, there's the opportunity there to kind of.
So I know, like, I don't have any more room in my yard for a tree, but I would like to do something. And as long as I paid for it, I could sponsor a tree somewhere.
Oh, yeah, it's, yeah, they don't care who, it will
Not like
be
it's
with a
just a check.
something address, and then you would just write the check.
we should make a graphic about that too. Like, ask if you want to donate a tree to the town.
Sponsor, yeah. Yeah, but so you say it's
Well,
not the right
no,
of
no,
way,
we
you
don't want
can't,
them on, I mean.
Oh, they
Yeah,
can't be on, they can't be on, okay, public property.
Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah, so.
I'm not saying no, but
That's
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But you're saying no.
no.
I have no power to do anything, I'm just.
Is there something that'll pass for a Christmas tree up there? Cause if we get.
I
passed,
know.
we could
Oh, yeah.
Go through this.
Do they have any,
What, what would
Is it
you
one-
like? I mean, I can always call and ask to see if they have one, and we could just.
No,
That's it.
okay, I was just thinking if there was
That's a
something that
great
looked like
idea.
like a one in Douglas fir or one.
I mean, that's not on this
Something like that.
list. I don't think there's
No,
anything on that list.
that's something I wanted to ask Sherry, because I think well. What if she could recommend a tree for that spot?
I thought we were doing soil testing there.
Yeah, so we'll, if we're done here, I have Mike's updated.
Yeah.
for you, but
Yeah, I
we
didn't
can
mean to
do that.
interrupt you, but
No,
this
that's
is so
okay,
great.
yeah.
that you-
So, yeah, so that's where we are, but really, it's like, we do have to move quickly. Not that, I mean, people will wait till the last minute, like, that's just their nature, but, you know, if we could get, I'm sure that this is have to go through the proper channels.
Yes.
But do you think that that's good enough to like kind of get it through the proper channels, that document? As long as they take time.
Yeah. It's great.
I have a question. Do you
That
think,
goes on borough communication channels, whether it's the blast and the website has to be approved by Teresa, basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
it
the
does not
form, Jill and I worked on the form,
Yeah.
that it's ready to go, basically, but it's all use these images.
Right, and then I'll
And
make,
them-
I'll make sure all those links work, because none of those things that are say order form are linked up right now.
Okay, All right, so we'll.
So I could get that to you before I go away, and then maybe we could circle. Maybe that'll approve.
Try to push it to.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I have a question. Do you think it would be inappropriate or indelicate to have this information maybe on a board in the firehouse during the fireman's fair?
It's a great idea.
Great idea.
There's only a few
Is it
people.
like
that
all
pass through
about the
there.
fireman's fair? Like, I don't know if it's all about the firemen, but it seems like, because when I go in there, I walk around, I'm like, all right, what's going on in here? What raffle ticket am I buying? So.
I'll leave
just
a
a
copy in the bar.
I'm sorry?
I'll leave a copy in the bar. I'm just,
Yeah, it's just, I mean, we could definitely do a flyer that we could put up in local businesses. It just would be a question of where are we sending them? You know, like, no, I mean, like, when they're reading the flyer, like what, like, where is this thing gonna live that they could get to it? You know, this document, because obviously you're not gonna put an 11-page
Yeah.
document.
Oh, so they're,
Right.
there could be a link to.
Yeah, right, and right now, we don't really have a place to link to,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, it can't go on, it can't live on like,
Well, Leah, can't you do a social media post and have a link or no?
We just need a place to link it to. Right now, it needs to be approved, like maybe link to the borough website.
Could it go to the
But
Instagram page.
Yeah.
so we do have a link tree on our Instagram. It's like, you have to, Instagram makes it kind of hard. You can't like do it from the page. You have to go into the profile and then click on like resident tree buying program, which will then take you to a place. On Facebook, I could actually put the website link on it and then people can click on it and it'll go straight there. That would probably be, I mean, I'll still put it on Instagram. I think Facebook's probably a better place for it, or be a more effective place for it. And then if we post it to the Fairhaven group, I think hopefully we could get some traction there. Even just talking about it around town, I have people who are interested and just wanted the information on it.
Yeah, I think word of mouth, you can get to 10.
So-
yeah, I think the Fairhaven groups on Facebook are a great way to do it. We just,
Yeah.
it just can't always come from the same person, I guess that. It could, you know, we should just rotate through, or people should be sharing so that, you know, it could.
Well,
Right.
if it also helps when someone share, like if I post it and we all share it, it does boost it in the algorithm. Like it does help when it is shared. So we, you know, if we share what we see on posted and then we ask, you know, people we know to share it too, it might help.
And comment.
And
Isn't this great? Share.
Well, we're not supposed to comment on our stuff,
You
right?
can comment personally on the shade tree thing, like go out of your shade tree account into your personal account, comment and share.
Well, no, we're supposed to turn off commenting on our posts per town,
Oh.
rules, right, Christy?
I know the Borough account is comments turned off. I'm not sure. I can run that.
If people could comment, it would definitely help.
Just on your.
But if I
You're talking about
personally,
the Shade Tree Facebook and Instagram account?
I'm sorry?
You're talking about the Shade Tree
Yes.
or?
but if I share something from Shade Tree from my personal account before I post it to my wall, I can comment on it, or I can add to it.
You
Say
can
something
comment
about
on your stuff, but
Yeah,
I think
okay.
on the town, I was supposed to turn off commenting. I might have missed it a couple times, but
Well, I'm just looking, it says.
if we could confirm that, because it would be lovely if people could comment and then I can just like monitor the comments.
Sure, I'll ask.
That's all I got.
That was great.
That's great.
That was a great graph. All right, Christmas tree replacement, Mike Hoey. Mike is not here and he told me that he is meeting with the town on Monday. No, I'm sorry, August 15th. for soil samples and places where the new tree can potentially go. Now, I don't know, once the soil samples are taken, I don't know how long that is going to take.
Is this DPW doing this?
Yeah, probably. do.
Yeah, he said, well, he said he's meeting with the town, I assumed it was DPW that handled it. Public Works.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm going back for a second. Christy, you're gonna share the brochure that Jill wrote, right?
With you guys?
Yes.
Of course.
Can you email it to us? Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
And can that go in the Borough Buzz and stuff like that, or you're saying it can't?
Yeah, once it's like, once you guys have approved it and once Jill's done with it and Teresa approves it.
Yeah, it's just about done. I just ran out of time, so I just need to like add some links and take out and fix the
looks
description.
great.
Then for, like I
That's
said, if
awesome.
everyone could just like eyeball it, to make sure, like, you know, to proof it, just so it goes faster, that would be great.
Awesome.
Will do.
Thanks for doing that.
So did Mike have any tree ideas or he's gonna talk to somebody?
Yeah, he did not, but he just texted me right before the meeting, so that's all the information I have. from him.
But it would be interesting to see. Yeah.
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 I don't want
I
to blow
mean-
this up for that, but I
Yeah.
just thought if there's.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I mean, I wonder even, I'll call them and ask them like, if, you know, September 6th, we say, can we add this on
Mhm.
to the truck? Fill in the blank, whatever that is, you
Yeah.
know.
By then, hopefully,
And
we
you
already
would
had a
have-
ton of trees over.
You might be able to get a bunch of people to donate. I mean, that is public property, but there is a hose right there. It's not that hard to take care of. But maybe because if we want to get a big one, it's gonna cost way more than.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe get the donations to it. Be happy to do that. So.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
There's
I mean,
something,
I'll give her a call and just say, you know,
Yeah.
talk to the other sisters.
If I look at the size of the other trees they're offering, it would be bigger than our current Christmas tree.
Well, I don't know about the evergreens are kind of small, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
they're-
close.
All right, the Salmo location.
well, I think that we left it that everybody was going to think about this, if they had any other good ideas. I mean, they're still in my backyard.
Mhm. How they doing?
They're doing okay. The original one I had repotted in a bigger pot and with all that rain that came down, it's a little bit, I think it's gotten a little bit too much rain. There's too little rain, so I need to kind of shuffle it back because I was away for the month of July, so. But they look okay, but I would like to get them in the ground.
We trust you.
Wow.
So maybe next meeting would be stumble across here and talk about it.
Yeah, and I still think it'd be nice to have one at McCarter.
Sure.
That would be my first choice. And then, if anyone's
Well, I
happy,
mean, we could do,
maybe I
we can do one, you have three, we can do one, what's holding us up from putting it in there, what do we need to do to put it in there?
will take markouts.
Mhm.
It's not as easy as you think.
Really? Okay.
Really, truly and really truly, it's not. And then, you know, it would be nice to do something with the kids so that they understand what it is and they don't, I mean, Brooks was worried about balls going in and like people
Yeah.
breaking it. I
Like
mean,
taking ownership of it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be nice to do it in the fall and I always wanted to do like collecting acorns from the park and have the kids take them home and grow their own trees. There's so many acorns at McCarter Park, like tons of them. And do a little project where they could learn how to grow an oak tree. So, I don't know.
that might. Just wonder if that could be, if that would be a PTA thing. Maybe down or unless.
Yeah, that's like a community outreach thing that would go into our. The planting acorn thing, right? Like that would count towards like community outreach in our.
Oh, yeah, towards our, oh, it's.
Funny, I mean,
What?
Have you reached out to Marilyn Schwartz, the principal of Sickle?
We've been
She might be
talking,
amenable to
yeah.
something like that. She's a really nice person.
Mhm. This is short. Yeah, I mean, I have, you know, the green team has been talking to them a lot.
Oh,
about doing
okay.
something. In addition to, you know, trying to put a pollinator garden and landscaping and
Oh.
they could use some landscaping. That's, you know. Getting pretty trees, it'd be great, but yeah, so this is for community outreach under. Just part of our requirements.
Yeah, to, at the end of the year, when we sum up what we're doing, community outreach has to be
Yeah.
part of
Right.
that.
Okay,
That aspect.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
If
mean,
I remember correctly.
like being at Love Where You Live Day was also community outreach, so that was good, yeah. Okay,
And the door hanger things.
right.
Yeah.
And how about this, the tree, you know, oh yeah. So much, we're all so much, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
all right.
so try to work on that.
Okay, that sounds good. Then we're on the spotted lantern flag
Oh, yeah.
grant. So there's a grant available. It's it was max 15,000, Christie, if I'm correctly.
Correct, up to.
And I guess the question was, would it be really worth it to pursue it? It's a match, so the town does have to outlay the money, do the work,
Who is it? with?
or no, we would hire a. Is there a specific contractor? that
It's
we would hire?
reimbursable,
It's
so Borough would have to do all the work and hire someone to do the service, and then
Mhm.
would be reimbursed. It's a one-time annual thing.
What-
It was a contract.
Who's it
It's-
for and what is it?
The
doing?
Department of Agriculture is offering this grant. It's kind of like when they run out of money, they're gonna stop offering it, but as of now, they still have money left.
And what is it, a treatment for this?
You know,
Is
the
it?
question
It's
is,
a treatment.
It's chemicals?
yeah, it would be chemical based, and it is, I guess, the. It's questionable as to whether or not it's gonna be banned soon, I think, or there is a ban coming. down the
Coming
pipe
Because of the chemical?
Because of the chemicals, yeah, or like the specific treatment, right, is
This
gonna
is the
be,
treatment, I guess it's counter-reactive to certain honeybees if it's sprayed directly on. the
Yeah.
plant or something.
so,
Yeah, so I mean,
Not-
this is why the green team was trying to set up this tape and these little
Sure.
traps to kill them without spraying.
right,
Um,
we don't want any casualties, especially with the bees.
yeah,
But that's why, yeah, I do want to bring it up, but and again, 15 grand, I don't know how far that really goes in the grand scheme of things for treating an entire.
if it was to cut down,
There's like a specific, if we found a specific
we could,
nesting spot. for
we
all
could
these
use
things,
it to
but-
cut down trees of heaven. I mean, that's where they breed and.
Well, it's not,
only
it's a
for this
treatment, it's
only
not
for
a,
treatment.
yeah,
That's.
Yeah, it's
unfortunate.
specific treatment, yeah.
Why wouldn't, okay, it seems silly, but
It seems questionable.
they'd rather spray chemicals than get rid of the source of the, you know.
Great,
I'm not sure I agree on that.
so I think we're all in agreement that we're not gonna pursue this. It wasn't a big grant, it was a one-page thing, but doesn't sound like it's gonna be.
It's a lot of chemicals,
Yeah.
$15,000.
Right. Um,
Especially if we would knowingly go after something that they are thinking about banning.
right,
That would be-
yeah.
I know, what- are they just trying to get rid of the chemicals?
Yeah.
We are-
Have a surplus of this chemical level. And then. That brings us to the council and tree preservation ordinance update. Obviously, Councilwoman Cole is not here. She did reach out and said that, I mean, I guess it was still in the works and that she was. Working on shepherding it through to the finish line.
It was workshopped about a month ago at the
Okay.
council meeting. It has not been introduced. After that meeting, there was some additional smaller group meetings with other council members and the attorney to further go over it in more detail. I guess other council people were bringing up other thoughts. So it's,
Is it
ongoing.
additions? Does it seem like it was
I
additions? or
don't know.
changes?
It's just, they had another smaller group meeting.
Okay.
So
Doesn't sound like it's gonna happen in the next.
that's all I know.
Okay.
But the next council meeting is August 14th. I don't know if that will be on the agenda or not.
Shoot an email to Tracy, see if we can make sure. Why wouldn't it be on the agenda? I mean, this was one of the big talking points of every meeting. And that concludes project updates. We're moving on to new agenda items. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add for future meetings?
I would love to get a report of all, I heard there are a lot of tree permits in the whatever,
In the works?
yeah, is that
Yeah.
true?
Well,
I mean, I just was speaking to somebody who was trying to get Bill Brooks out to look at
yeah.
the, what, I mean, how many?
Well, he has 21 days to review a permit. People don't like that.
Yeah, no, I was just concerned with how many trees are gonna be cut down, that's really what I was worried.
We had 10 permits processed in July.
And
10.
and he,
And they were pretty much all dead or hazard because there was no, or not many trees collected. There's 8 outstanding that he hasn't reviewed yet, but yeah.
so what is Sherry doing tomorrow?
There's a couple that are, that she's looking at.
Is it possible?
I
to-
can't
to-
say.
Are shade tree commissioners allowed to go see what, I don't know, I would love to like learn her process, like just, I don't know, just, you know, from a,
Shower.
yeah, just like see what she's analyzing, what she's. I don't know, I mean, and I would love to, if she's, I don't
Teresa
know,
was on it.
I don't know where
Ask her,
I don't know where she's gonna be. But I mean, I had a resident on Briarwood say she was so concerned, could you tell the shade tree commission, like, I wanna know what's happening, we had an oak tree die on our street, there's a bunch of others that are dying around the corner by Leah. I walk my dog there, so I look up and I see these black curling leaves on so many of the oaks, I don't know what's going on and whether it's they need to be removed to get the disease out or it's gonna spread, you know, I just don't know. But I would love to get a second opinion from Sherry.
Yeah, it sounded when Bill talked about it, it was like the tree is sick and you just hope that it will be okay, like by next season that'll kind of recover.
Yeah. But is it
but-
contagious?
Pardon me?
Is it contagious?
Is it contagious? I don't know. I don't know if the wasps are going from tree to tree and introducing it, or if they introduced it to some and they spread. I have no idea.
I know,
That's a fair question.
You're saying that's particular to the oaks?
It seems like it, and I know that, when I was in the court training, they were saying we can't recommend the red oaks anymore because there's this blight happening. I mean, it does seem that it's the oak trees that have this, that I've noticed.
And are they boring into them? Is that what's happening? Like they're
It's
boring?
the leaves are just, they're curling and they're black.
Browning. But you know what, Bonnie? I did have new leaf growth.
That's good.
Which my husband and I were heartened to see. But it was like the tree's much thinner than it was last year for sure. But new leaves did grow. But there's like a gall on them. It looks like it has little pocks. I was gonna say something, but it's left my brain.
Was there any trimming recommended to?
He said
cut
to
it back or?
he said to just water it for several hours when we have dry spells. You don't want to see my water bill. And then just to kind of wait until the fall to do a kind of fertilizer on it. And then hopefully it'll drop its leaves, and then next year hopefully it'll be okay. That was what was recommended to me.
Good.
Well,
Anyone have anything else?
But Could I ask that every meeting you bring up like a list of the, like, you know, what was done since the last meeting and what's on the agenda? Like, kind of, I'm just curious, you know, kind of a run.
I'd like to know that too. I think that's a good idea.
Oh, the permits.
Yeah,
I
like
think
what.
so.
Permits and trees that have been taken down, so we kind of get an idea of, you know, our net loss.
It
Is
also
that-
helps, it also helps us kind of get a gauge of like what the sentiments of our fellow townsfolk, you know, feel. Are they mostly taking down trees because they're trying to do projects? Is it because they're hazardous or dead?
I mean, this in July, they're all dead.
Does it
One,
say-
and one is a new construction, so they're gone.
Hmm.
They're all mostly maples and ash, a lot of ash for.
Yeah.
And then just removals.
Goes 9 out of 10 are dead for July. You said 10 for July?
Yeah. One.
So we can get a
two,
total, but you know, no specific
no-
names,
no
obviously,
names or
names,
anything,
addresses,
but-
stuff like that. Sure.
Okay.
But we just, you know, if we could say, this is how many trees we lost this year. And this is how many we planted. We want more planted than, right?
When they take down a dead tree, is there any note that they're planting something in its
There's no
place?
requirement,
No
no
requirement.
replacement requirement, if it's desert hazard.
But it would be good to get from Jill, what Jill put together here, you know, you just
Right.
lost a tree here, you know, this is a great program. That should accompany
Someone,
what
yeah.
the permits or have it, you know, next to them or on the desk or however they pick it up. That'd be great.
Yeah, we just email it. If there's no fee, because there's no fee as well, if it's better. Hazard.
okay,
Doesn't somebody still have to come and look at it?
Yes.
Why isn't there a fee? We still have to pay Bill Brooks whether it's dead or alive.
That
Yeah.
would be in the new ordinance, that's a
Yeah, I mean,
consideration, that permit fee regardless, because.
Because
still doing the
we're,
work.
we're using that permit fee to plant more trees or to take care of the trees in town. So it should, it's not like, it's. I think most people will be like, yeah, I could give the money toward the program, right?
No, I
Yeah,
don't think it would be
I think that
very little resistance.
I would. be
We just
all
gotta get
for-
We just gotta get it.
Yeah,
I believe
Sign.
that's in consideration.
It was the, everything was in there.
okay.
Anything else before we move on to public participation? Do we have any public? Christie?
Yes. If you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand using the raise hand feature. There's no public comment.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Jill is seconding it. All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Work. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your summer. We'll see you in September.